Hello, you sexy beast. It's Ainsley here, your life transformation coach for Daily Adventure Fest. So, I'm in a little bit of a world of hurt today because I had a big night. So, if I'm really vague on this video, I do apologise in advance. I am sorry. But what I wanted to talk to you guys today about is neediness and how to overcome it, because I do get asked this question a lot. I've had it. Hey, sometimes I fly myself. Well, actually not so much anymore, but you know, like I have had it. Now I'm like the anti-neediness. But here's the thing, like we all get it. So just know, and I want you to know this because I didn't really get it, but everybody gets needy at times. Okay? Like it is a normal human trait that you can overcome, definitely. Like you can get to a point in your body, in your mind, and how you feel about yourself where you will never be needy again. And it's a great place to be, I can assure you of that. And it's taken me a long time to get here. But the thing with neediness, now I'm going to do this, use like dating as the example, because that seems to be the biggest one when people come to me with different problems, and it's usually when it's about neediness. It's about, you know, you get together with someone, you start seeing someone, and then you get really needy and you're kind of like holding on and scared that they're going to leave. And of course they do, because that's what it does. And neediness comes from a few things. So sorry, it's a bit wobbly. It comes from an obsession with outcomes, okay? It comes from a fear of loss. Because when people get into relationships, or say it's money, like it's across the board. It can be anything. Like if you're going for a job, you can be a little bit too needy, and then you know it turns off the recruiter. All sorts of different aspects of your life where this can come up. If you want something really, really badly, then that can bring up neediness. And the other thing as well with neediness is it's also this lack of self-worth. So your neediness is happening because there's a lack of self-worth there, and you don't value yourself enough to be in the mindset that, you know what, you're a good person and you could fucking take it or leave it. When you detach yourself from outcomes, then, and detach yourself from do you mind? I'm doing a video. Now, see, there's the vague. I got distracted. I am going to blame my hangover, because why not? I'm not going to blame the arm that put it there. Yeah, and so with neediness, you can get yourself into such a space of struggle that you get into this loop, right? So you start seeing someone, for example, and you're like, you've been wanting a relationship so badly that you finally get this person, and you've placed a higher value on this person than you have on yourself. If you put it into a job situation or an interview, you've put a higher value on the job than you have on yourself. If you put it into anything, friends, like making new friends in your social life, if you're putting a higher value on the people you're spending the time with, then you're putting yourself in the pit. So regardless of what it is, okay, you're putting yourself in the pit and lessening yourself as a result of this belief and this whole thought pattern. And when you do that, this is when people reject you. This is when you don't get the job. This is when you don't get what you want, because you're clutching on too tightly to it. And in there's this technique, or not technique, sorry. There was a book. I never actually read the book. The title was enough to go, yeah, I know what that's about. It was called The Rubber Band Effect. And it was how when a person tries to push too hard onto another person, the other person will instinctively pull away. Okay, so they'll not want to be near you, because what you're doing is trying to suck the energy out of them to feed yourself. And so this is really unhealthy behavior. But as I said, we all do it. Like I've done it. Fuck, I don't even know how many times. I'm sure there'll be another time that I do it. I might get in a relationship and have moments of neediness, you know, because it does come up. But the key thing here is to deal with it head on and acknowledge it. And so what you need to do is ask yourself what you're fearing, and no surface answer will do. You have to dig underneath. Now, there might be abandonment issues there. There might be, fear of rejection, all sorts of different things. But when you push onto that, when you have that stuff come up, then you're going to get that result. You're creating that result with that neediness. You're creating it, okay? And so you've got to get really fucking honest with yourself, like really, really honest with yourself as to what's really going on. And it's usually an emotion of some kind. I mean, it's quite easy with the throwaway line of, I don't value myself. If you don't cringe over the answer, then you haven't dug deep enough. And I say this to all my clients. When you start to cringe and you feel really uncomfortable and awkward, you know that you've hit the truth. You know that you've hit that trigger, that very thing, that very reason as to why you're doing that behavior. The next thing to do, now, the thing that you're trying to get, stop it. Stop trying to go for it, because at the moment you're not ready for that thing, okay? You need to strengthen your emotional intelligence and your sense of self-worth before you can do anything else, okay? Now, I'm not saying you just give up and not do anything about it, okay? This requires, you do have to take action. And this is one of the things that I've had to battle with in my own mindset with business, is that it's like you have to do the work required, so building your confidence, or in my case, doing what I have to do the work required, but you can't be obsessed or even really think about the outcome. It's freaking hard, like it's challenging, but it takes daily practice and training for you to be able to do that. And I highly recommend you do that, whether it's through journaling, whether it's through meditation, watching videos on YouTube of the thing that you want to master. Like, watch my videos every day, shameless plug. But there's also heaps of other ones on there. You can watch long seminars and all sorts of different things on people who are experts in the area that you want to master. And the more you do this, the more consistent you become with this and make it a habit, the faster, like it will happen so quickly because you've committed to it. You've decided, you're now focusing on what you want. So you've got to get clarity around what you want as well, okay? So clarity is your outcome, or you've got to get clarity around your outcome, okay? So you know what you want. And that then you're in your mind, your brain needs to start working and operating so that you develop daily habits, because now it's like, okay, now I want this. And it's like the little monkeys inside your brain are like, okay, Kevin, can you pull that gear over there? And Marge, just pull that lever and blah, 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 blah. Press that button, Barry. And, so your brain starts operating and bringing together the learnings that you need and the experiences you need to bring you that thing. So you're going to fail, you're going to get rejected, you're going to have fuck ups, okay? But when you commit to yourself that you're going to master this thing that you want, then man, you're going to fly. Like, you will fly because you've made a commitment to do that. But most people don't want to do the work. They'd rather sit in pain their whole lives. They'd rather sit and just and just ignore the truth, ignore and not be honest with themselves, just keep bullshitting themselves and having this adversity to the pain, but it's just causing pain because you're looking at the pain. You're creating the pain because you're looking at it and you're focusing on it and you're making it this thing. As opposed to, if you get clarity around what you want, it raises different emotions. Like if I said, I hate being broke, as opposed to I love having money. Look, that's a completely different emotional and physiological response going through my body. And so that's what happens. And then your brain, it will start believing whatever you tell it, because your brain can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. And so when you start telling your brain that you love money, or you love being in a relationship, or you love yourself and you feel amazing, and you do the things every day to cement that and build that foundation, then that's when you start flying. That's when your confidence will go through the roof. So years and years of low self-esteem will, I can't say vanish, because it's always within you, but it will get smaller and smaller and smaller. And you start becoming who you want to be. And you leave behind this scared person who is always just responding to the environment and reacting based on their own sense of lack and scarcity, and that they don't deserve that thing that they really, really want. So write down, I want you to today, first of all, and this exercise is so profound. I had a mentor get me to do it. I do it to all of my clients, but one of my clients, it took him 4 days. He sent me over 4 days this exercise that he did, because it was he was digging up so much shit. It made him sick. Now, I don't want to scare you, but basically it's the I'm a liar and fraud story. And all you do is you write, I'm a liar and a fraud. And then you just start writing why you're a liar and a fraud. Everything you've been bullshitting yourself about will come out. And you have to be really open to it. Like when I give people this exercise, like they'll write, I tell them, keep going. And I'll say, have you cried yet? No, then keep going. If you haven't cried at all, like if there's nothing emotional coming up, then you ain't digging deep enough, my friend. You're being lazy, or not lazy, but you're just not digging deep enough. And I know that comes from fear. It does come from a bit of laziness. But when you do this exercise, it will bring up a lot of stuff that then you can start getting really honest with yourself about. Because what we do when things happen in our past, we suppress the emotions around them. And we surround the whole thing with stories and meanings and beliefs. And so you've got to shake some screws loose so that you can dismantle it, basically. Then the next exercise I want you to do after that is write down your ideal perfect day. The same mentor gave me the same exercise, so this is nothing new. I didn't invent this. I think it's like just this entrepreneurial thing that gets passed down to the masses, whatever. So yeah, in clear detail, your perfect day. What time you wake up, what colour are your curtains, who you're waking up next to, what happens when you wake up together. What do you do? Do you get up? Do you go do a workout? Do you have a beautiful breakfast on the patio of your gorgeous home on the beach, as you watch the sunrise? Do you have dogs that run up and jump on the bed and you can wrestle, or kids, or anything that you want, you will get when you get clear about it. And I know when I was doing date coaching the guys, I would say, what do you want? And it would be, in regards to a relationship or whatever. And they say, I want to be happy. And it's like, that's not enough. We all want to be happy, but you know what? Life comes up, and you need to dig deeper than just wanting to be happy, because otherwise you're just reacting to life. And so when you get clear about that, okay, you will start subconsciously working towards it. When you write it down, you create in your mind this whole picture of it, like you're seeing it as you're writing it. So you tell it like a story, okay? And so once you've cleared the shit of the liar and fraud, then you can make way for starting this moving towards life. And when you do that, you'll start picking up little things along the way that will get you that thing. Every time I've done this, I've gotten stuff. Like tour guiding. I did a tour when I was 21 down the east coast of Australia. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to do that. But I was 21, I was immature. I applied, but I didn't get it. And then 3 years later, yeah, I was 24. 3 years later, I moved to Alice Springs, and I ended up living with a guy who worked for that company, or used to work for that company. No, well, 3 of them. We lived with 3 people, with the couple left. But I lived with 3 people. I forgot they were there because they were tour guides, so they were in and out all the time. 3 people who used to work for that company. And so I stayed in Alice Springs for a year, and then when I was ready to go, I said, like, can you guys, make a phone call? Made a phone call. And it took 6 weeks for me to actually get to that. And it was like I went home to my parents' house in my hometown, and for 6 weeks, I had money saved, so I was just chilling out, waiting for this call, waiting for 6 weeks. And the minute, I swear to God, the day I decided, I was like, fuck this, I'm going back to Darwin, it's not going to happen, so that's it, I'm just going to go back to Darwin. I got a phone call that night to tell me to go back to Alice Springs to start my first tour through the Northern Territory. And because I let go, I wasn't needy anymore. I energetically let go of that outcome. And so bringing it back around to the neediness, this is what you have to do, okay? You get clear about your perfect day, but then you've got to work out. Like, okay, well, how am I going to do that? Like, if I want this palatial home, how am I going to pay for it? Okay? Do I want to start a business so that I can charge whatever I want and make lots of money? Do I want a new career where I can get a 6-figure income and just be an expert in whatever, consultant, whatever? Okay? So that stuff, that takes away the neediness, because now you've got to focus. And if you get into a relationship with someone and that fear comes up, you've got to look at it within. Because if you start projecting it onto that other person, they'll run a mile. Like, you'll lose them. But having said that, it's also a message to you to say that you're not ready for that. Okay? So if you keep losing the thing you want, then you're not ready for it. So you do need to do this internal work on yourself, because otherwise you won't. I see people in their fucking 50s and 60s still engaging in this behavior, and it's insane. And I'm like, what are you doing? But they haven't done this work. They haven't done the internal work. So they spend their whole lives thinking that there's something wrong with them, when there's nothing wrong with them. They just aren't getting honest with themselves. They aren't doing the things that they need to do, learning the skills they need to learn to improve that aspect. And your personal development is your biggest fucking investment. Okay? Now, I am saying that a little bit because that's what I do. So there is a vested interest there, but only because I've spent $80,000 on my development over 10 years. That's insane. No wonder I've been broke at times, because I've invested. But I know that in the long run, that's paying off. A lot of it already has, but yeah, in the long run, it's definitely paying off. And so, because it's knowledge like this, I would be more devastated about losing this than the money that I've got, or money in the bank, or whatever, to pay for my personal development. Because when this goes, then you forget that stuff. Okay? I mean, well, I don't know. I haven't done any research. What am I talking about? But yeah, this is your biggest fucking investment. That's it. That's your biggest investment. Because when you do this, invest in this, then everything else will transform your life, like big time. So I did pretty well for someone who's hungover and breath smells like a dog's butthole. Sure you wanted to know that. 20 minutes, but it was a good one. Like, that was really good. I love helping you guys with this stuff because it's so important for your growth. But if you want to work with me to help you get through this, if you want to overcome that neediness, if you want to set yourself up so that you're working towards the ideal perfect day, then hit me up, ainsleym.com. You can do I've changed the name of the button. I think it says book a consult now. Book a 30-minute consult with me. what we'll do is go through the stuff that's holding you back, your biggest fears. Then we'll look at what you want, so your big dreams. And then we'll look at the things that you need to do, the gap in between, to get it. And then I can offer for you to work with me if you want to actually fast track it. Or if you want to do it on your own, I've got my Fantasy Life Starter Pack on the website as well. So that's full of audios, videos, worksheets, a VIP membership to my Daily Adventure Fest group, and you also get a free call on that as well. So you could, get heaps. But that's it for today. So I want you to have a cracking day.